We want to change the mindset that we have so that we are bought into, we are sold out in doing the work necessary to become a business owner. I'm going to have a lot of fun, and I'm going to probably go off script a bit. I'll tell you a little bit more about me, but first I want to just chime in just a hair on what I expected. When I got the email saying, hey, you've been selected to speak at FUBCON, I was like, this is awesome. I know exactly what I want to talk about. This is perfect. And then I kept reading, and they gave me the topic. This wasn't it. But I did dive in because when I saw this, I said, well, this is my baby. This is what we're talking about. This is what we're training on. This is everything we're doing as a team right now. We're talking about conversion, but we're doing it in a very, very different way. And look, I realize a lot of you guys have no idea who I am, and that's okay because you'll get to know me more throughout the time that I'm up here with you. But the one thing I really want you guys to know about me is when it comes to conversion, it is my absolute baby. I'm actually going to show you the stats. I'm going to give you the numbers. I'm going to give you the proof. And I'm even going to show you step by step how we on my team convert at the level that we do. And all I ask of you is, it's really one thing. The next slide I show you is going to give you your absolute rule to the entire training that I'm doing here, the entire talk that I'm giving here. There's one basic rule. But before we get to it, this QR code, this is all my slides. If you want my slides, just scan the QR code. You can have them right now. And if you miss the QR code, don't worry. The code's on the corner of just about every single slide. So you don't have to take pictures. I realize that I'm at events and I have to stop and snap pictures, and sometimes I miss like that key tip that I was hoping I would get, and I got to ask my neighbor and interrupt them. So you won't have to do that. You can have all the slides right here. Now, I promised you that I would give you that one rule, right, to the entire training. And this is it. And before I get into it, I want you to know just a little bit more about me. I've been a team leader and associate broker out of the state of Maryland, servicing all of Maryland and Northern Virginia for, this is my 4th year. Now, I've been in real estate for about 20 years. I used to own mortgage companies. In fact, I started my first business when I was 17 years old. I've worked 1 year as an adult for anyone else in any capacity. Everything about my life has been kill what you eat. And it's worked out really well for me until one day, I was 35 years old, and I sold a business that I had. And in my mind, I said, this is it. I'm retiring. I'm not doing anything else. I'm just going to relax. I'm going to just chill out. I'm going to enjoy life. And it worked. I even bought an old 76 Ford F-150, and I said, I'm going to restore that truck. By the way, I have no idea how to restore anything. So I was good at one thing. I ripped that truck apart, and then I sold it because I realized that I had to put it back together and had no idea what I was doing. But what I want you to know is that about 1.5 years after being home, I had this awesome conversation that I really wasn't ready for. It was a conversation with my wife, and it went a little something like this. I love having you home. Now, right away, some of you should start understanding where we're going, okay? I love having you home. It's so great. The kids get to see you every day. I get to see you every day. But you're always home. And then she hit me with this, and I commend my wife because I didn't realize how much she was paying attention to the sales trainings I was doing at the time. She hit me with I think we should do something different. And then she said, I think I'd like to get my real estate license. And I said, well, I can jump on that bandwagon. Let's do it. But understanding that I'm a serial entrepreneur. I mean, like I said, 17 years old, started my first business, taught myself to code, build websites, went business to business at 17, convinced a bunch of grown adults to advertise on my website. They looked at me like I was crazy, but in the end, they stroked the check. So I said to my wife, all right, here's the deal. I'll do it. I'm 100% in, but there's one rule. And that rule was, I will not ever be a real estate agent. I will not be a real estate agent. I will not be a realtor. It's simply not gonna be me. I refuse to fall into the category. Instead, I said I'm going to be a business owner in real estate because all I knew was how to run businesses. And what I realized was everything was about business. So ingrain this idea in your mind. This is business. Because the reality is, if I spend the rest of my time up here with you for the next 30 minutes or so, and you get anything from what I share with you, it should solely be the idea that this is business. If you take a realtor approach, this won't work. If you take a business owner approach, you will break down everything that I'm talking about. I will teach you right here, right now, how to read in between the lines and convert at a level that people, they say it's impossible. It can't be so. There's no way. And I'm actually gonna show you my conversion numbers. So you're gonna see for yourself. So here's the deal. If this is business, understand that business owners run businesses. And also understand that real estate agents work for business owners. So when you're thinking, especially if you're a solo agent or if you're on a team and you're saying to yourself, well, how do I make more money, become a business owner? Well, does that mean I have to start my own team? No, you are your own team, you are your own brand. You should start operating like a business owner. And if you're not doing that already, I'm gonna help you do that by going over something that we're all familiar with, and it's called work ethic. So my first question to you, and if you'll just tell your neighbor, and be honest, because we're just gonna assume for a moment we have massive rapport and we've known each other for more than 7 minutes. So be honest with your neighbor and answer, are you a realtor or are you a business owner? Real quick answer, go for it. All right, how many of you said I'm a business owner by a show of hands? All right, how many with your hands up? Put your hands back up if you said I'm a business owner. All right, put your hand down only if you just lied. Yeah, there you go. Exactly. Now, that's okay if you're a realtor, but we want to change the mindset that we have so that we are bought into, we are sold out in doing the work necessary to become a business owner. So here's the deal. If you adopt this mindset, this one single rule that this is business, then we all understand that all companies require sales departments. All companies, it doesn't matter where you are, what you do, doesn't matter your industry, your field, or anything like that, all companies require sales departments. So just stick with me for a moment, agree with me for a moment, and if all companies require sales departments, then what I want you to do is break down these questions with me. Question number one, what are we selling? Yell it out. Real estate, right? Who says real estate? Say I. Oh, you're scared. All right, so my argument is we're not selling real estate. My argument is that real estate is the product, and we're selling our expertise and the means by which we convey it. Now, I've heard people say this before, and it made so much sense. Because sales is not about getting over on someone. Sales is about one word. It's a secret word. I'm not gonna tell it to you yet. I'm gonna tell it to you in the slides. But sales is not about getting over on someone. Sales is not about saying to yourself, well, I won, you lost. Now look, my first job was in a pizzeria. My second job was in a gas station. My third job was telemarketing. I was 15 years old, I was there for 1 week. I was there for 1 week at 15 years old. After 1 week, I was the number one salesperson in the company. I left that company at 16 years old being the number one that entire year. I've never worked in a space where I didn't live in that number one space. I'm 42 years old. Do the math, I've always been in sales. I love sales. But it's because I understand that sales is not about who won. It's about a magic word that we're gonna get into. So first, what are we selling? We're selling our expertise and the means by which we convey it. Question number two, who are we selling to? Now, the answer to this is so simple and so in your face, and so often we forget it. Who are we selling to? Everyone, all the time. We are selling to every person all the time, no matter what. Phil, that's impossible. I coach my daughter's volleyball team. They're 12 years old. I'm not selling to them. I beg your pardon. I would argue you are selling to them. The way you treat them, the way you work with them, the way you're caring for them, they're going home and talking to their parents about it because we're building something in the process every day of developing our brand, and that thing we're building is, you already know, it's trust. So I want you guys to understand we're selling to everyone all of the time. Next question. Where are the people we aim to sell to? Well, if we're selling to everyone all the time, this is an easy question. The answer to this question is everywhere. So here's a tip for you if you don't do this. By the way, we're talking about conversion. I know you're like, when is this guy going to teach me to convert? When is he going to give me tips on conversion? I already am, so pay close attention. When you're in the grocery store and someone walks by you, piece of advice, a little tip for you is instead of saying, hey, and they say, hey, do this. This is magic. I've done it countless times. Hey, and stand right in front of them. How are you? I know, it's going to be awkward as hell, I promise you. But I promise you something happens from this too. What happens after you do this is you recognize, and rather they recognize, that you are looking for something, and it's called an answer. So you actually stir up conversation, and it gives you opportunities to test everything you're studying. So where are the people? They're everywhere. Next question. This is one of the most important. Why do they want to buy from us? Why do they want to buy from us? What exactly is it that makes someone want to buy from you? Now, if we understand that every company has a sales department or needs a sales department or should have a sales department, let me give you a spring or a sidebar department to sales, and it's called marketing. I want you guys to understand, in my opinion, marketing is not its own department. Marketing is a segue department from sales. It's a piece of sales. The entire purpose of a marketing department, in my opinion, is to consistently prove to your future clients why you are the only choice. That's it. So if your marketing department's not doing this, I want you to think about how we're going to do it through conversion, which we're going to talk about. Next question. How do they know that they should work with us? Well, again, marketing. Marketing's job is to be creative and express how they know they should work with us. And your answer is, again, going to be in this single word, which I'll tell you in a moment. And lastly, what will we do or how will we handle the opportunity once it arises? Now, this is the part that's different. This is the part that tends to get people. This is the differentiating factor between I'm a real estate agent and I'm a business owner. Real estate agents work oftentimes when they get a call, or when they come to a conference like this, or when they're inspired to do so. Business owners work how often? All the time. Business owners simply understand that the clock never turns off, that 24 hours in a day we're all made for putting in the hustle, that absolutely no question you've got to do the work. So understanding that your job is to practice and be prepared and not have to practice on your clients. And that's what I want you guys to see. I want you guys to see our SOPs for conversion so that you can put yourself in a position where you can go home and say, it's time to practice, it's time to develop, it's time to build, and then you can apply on the clients when the time arises or the opportunity arises. So we're going to skip this question because I'm going to come back to it later. I have a question for you guys. What is your client experience conversion rate? Who doesn't know what a client experience conversion rate is? By show of hands. Just be honest, because we're best buds in here. All right, cool. It's super simple. You already know. You've just not heard someone say it this way. It's just you're working with a buyer client, their overall experience. How did you convert from I just met you to they're super freaking happy and would tell the whole world about you? You're working with a seller client. You got the referral. You got on the phone. You scheduled your appointment. How did you convert to I just talked to you to they're super freaking happy. They just sold their house and they tell the whole world about you? So what's your conversion rate? By the way, this is the typical way we look at conversion. We talk about conversion and we say, all right, well, to convert means I got the client, I sold them a house. I got the client, I sold their house. So if you convert at 10% or higher, raise your hand. Let me see you. 10% or higher. Okay, well, that's, damn. All right, if you convert at 20% or higher, raise your hand. This is ugly. If you convert at 30%, all right, let's just skip. Is there anyone that converts at 50% or higher? Raise your hand. No one? One person back there, I think your hand is up. All right, cool. So I got a question for you. What if I told you that I convert at 100%? Would you believe me? Don't, because I don't. But I do convert at approximately 95%. Now, I need you guys to understand something. 95% of the time that I take on a client experience, I convert to completion. 95% of the time. And it's not because I'm the best person at selling houses, because I'm not. Y'all are far better than me, I'm sure. It's because I understand one key aspect of conversion that too many people leave out. So what we need to understand is this: you can have all the leads in the world. You can be on a team and they're giving you leads galore and you're just winning big time. But if you're just blowing through leads, it doesn't matter. If you don't understand the difference, like it says up there, from being a busy realtor and a productive business owner, it simply doesn't matter. So what if I could show you how to increase your conversion rate right now in the matter of 20 minutes? Would you be okay with that? Yeah, okay, me too. Good, I'm happy. So what does it say up there? Number one, you got to understand it. You got to understand why this industry has such a high turnover rate. And I just put out 3. I'm sure there's a bunch of other reasons, but reason number 1 we'll go over is an inability to acquire leads overall. You've got so many people that got super excited about a COVID market. They get involved in real estate and they have no idea how to actually get a lead in the first place. No one knows they're an agent. In fact, they are a secret agent. They should join the CIA. They're great at that part. See, this is terrible because the reason they don't know how to acquire leads is oftentimes because no one has what? Taught them. All right, the next reason is a complete lack of understanding and expertise in conversion. We're going to nail that so we don't have to break into it. And lastly, this is the one I find is the most, I see this one the most. And it's just an unwillingness to accept how hard this is. Would you guys say that this is a hard industry to build a business in? Yeah, I mean, look, it's not easy. It's simple as hell. I mean, it is so simple, it's ridiculous. We do a few things over and over and over again with different people, and we ebb and flow accordingly. But the fact of the matter is, it's not easy because what we did was we took a course to get a real estate license, not realizing we need to go to 4-year college to get a sociology degree and a psychology degree, right? Because that's just the reality of it. So, understand here, to increase appointment conversion, we must dispel many misguided practices. And the first one is this. There was a study. It was done by Brevet. And it said 80% of sales require an average of 5 follow-ups in order to close the deal. However, 44% of sales reps follow up with a prospect only once before giving up. So let's break this down. If you're a broker owner or a team leader, raise your hand for me. All right, this is the worst stat for all of us. Broker owners and team leaders. This is the worst stat for all of us because, yell it out if you know this answer. Who buys the leads? Yeah, you do. Exactly. Broker owners and team leaders. Oftentimes, you're the ones that pay for the business to come in. So if you're not tracking the person on your team that is actively working with someone and they just blow them out of the water, you're missing it completely. In fact, you're helping people like me. And I want to help you understand why. Because what happens is, if people need 5 follow-ups, please understand this truth. When your agent, or you, if it's you, gets a lead and they call them one time, that is the first touch. I want you to change this slide. Instead of saying 5 follow-ups, I want you to change in your mind, get rid of follow-ups. Call them touches. Just call them touches. And understand now, somebody has some plans tonight. I said touches. She said, woo! Yes. I'm joking. All right, so call them touches. So here's what I want you to think about. Touch number 1, lead comes in, I make the call, bam. No one answers the phone, that's the last time I reach out. Now, let's assume for a second your agent's a superstar, so they actually touch the person one more time. They call again. No one answers the phone, boom, they're done. Please understand what you've done. You have just cut down the 5 touches to 3 for someone like me. It's not 5 touches from the same person. It's 5 touches from someone that understands what they're interested in the first place. So I need to know what is someone interested in, and then the touches start. So if you're a team leader, if you're a broker owner, this is the worst statistic you could have because it's simply costing you money. And the reality is the average person never calls back a second time, surely doesn't reach out the third time. In fact, on our team, write this down. Here's how you get a lead. You ready for it? This is our lead capture SOP. Number 1, call. Pick up the phone, call. How soon you have to call? Within 60 seconds. If you do not call the lead within 60 seconds, guess what Follow Up Boss does for us? It sends a text message to the lead from me directly, and you've lost the lead. So you've got 60 seconds to call the lead first. Second, the lead doesn't answer the phone, call again. I know it's a crazy concept, but believe it or not, some people don't carry their phone around everywhere they go. They may have just missed your call. Second, I want you to understand that most people do not answer numbers they don't know. But if you don't know the number and it calls you right back, you immediately trip into this mindset that says it must be important. So I want you to call once, call twice. If they don't answer on the second call, guess what you do? You actually leave a voicemail then. As soon as you hang up the phone from leaving that voicemail, you're gonna then send them a text message. After you send this text message, you're immediately gonna send them an email that references what you said in the text message. We have 4.5 touches immediately happening as soon as the lead comes in. Within 60 to 120 seconds, everything is done. So either you're in a position where you know, my goodness, these people are everywhere, or we're on the phone talking. And if we're on the phone talking, it's about conversion. It's not about saying to yourself, well, what do I want to get you to do? Because, for example, most real estate agents, when they get a lead, what's their number one goal for the lead? Can anyone tell me? Can't hear you. Nice and loud. Set an appointment, right? Most people want to set an appointment. I want to completely get rid of that. I want to completely change this idea that our goal is to initially set an appointment. And I know I'm going to piss some people off. And some people are going to see me after this at lunch and they're going to kick me down the escalator. I get it, because your team's here and they're listening and this guy said don't set the appointment. Just hear me out for a minute. Instead of setting the appointment, what if there was a completely better way? And like it says up there, no gimmicks, no apps, no this, no that, just a better way to do it. And I referenced this better way several times already. And here it is. It's called connection. Now, in order to connect, you have to do something. And Tom set the bar, so I'm just gonna go with it. You actually have to give a fuck about the person more than you give a fuck about your wallet. Now, this is a crazy concept. Now, for me, it's easy because I have no drive for money. It's not my thing. That's why I don't handle any money in my household. My wife is 100% in charge of money. In fact, if I got home from this trip and my wife was gone, I'm screwed. Legitimately, I don't know how to get into our bank accounts. I barely know where the banks are. She gives me a personal credit card and a business credit card, and she tells me what I'm allowed to and not allowed to do, and I'm masculine enough in myself to be okay with that, okay? So shut up, gentlemen. With that said, I want you to understand something. This whole deal is about connection. So now instead of the person saying to me, I got this lead, Phil, I called them, I talked to them, they're not interested in the house. Well, why did you even ask them if they were interested in that house? Here, let me work with you. What's your name, man? What? Corey? All right, Corey, if you submit a lead about a house, can we agree you're interested in that house? Why ask a stupid question like, are you interested in this house? The only reason I have your information is because you're interested in this house. So why are we even bringing it up? Why is that even something important to me? It's important to me because all I really care about is, I gotta get you to the house, I gotta get you to the house. And that's not the plan. That's not the goal. That shouldn't be your intention. So understand this. If conversion is defined as, and I didn't make this up, this is the definition, Google it. The process of changing or causing something to change from one form to another. And then you see that little letter next to it? What's that letter? And what does N stand for here? Noun. Then conversion is a noun. It's not a verb. We look at conversion as it's a verb. It's an action I have to do and I've got to push and I've got to get them somewhere. And I argue that that is not how you should look at conversion. It's a noun. We all have heard people say people work with people they know, like, and trust. So why in real estate do we focus our time, or better, I should say, do we not focus our time on getting people to know, like, and trust us? You see, it says here, so why do so many real estate agents, so many in real estate refuse to get to know their clients? Actually get to know your clients. So a lead comes in, hey, I saw you called about 123 Acme Street. Let me ask you, is that the only home you're interested in? Because is my goal to sell them that home or a home? So why do I hyper focus on that home? It makes no sense. Is that the only home you're interested in? No, I actually like this one, this one, this one. Great. So let me ask you this question. What about those 6 homes that you just mentioned really drew you in? Because there's so many homes online that you could look at. Why was it these that you really got drawn into? Oh, this, and this. And I'm taking notes the whole time because what are they giving me? Here's what they're giving me. They're giving me tools. I look at converting people like building a house. I have all the land laid out in front of me. I need supplies and tools. It all comes from the client, not from what I think I should do. So, how do we do it? How do we convert? Here's the breakdown, simple, easy, and I'm gonna give it to you. This is our buyer-focused SOP system. All right, so identify your lead flow for SOPs. This is our buyer. So number 1, speed the lead. I mentioned this. 60 seconds, you gotta call the lead right away. No questions asked, no excuses, no nothing. If you're serious about your business, 60 seconds, you call the lead. That's as simple as it gets. Number 2, appointment set. Now, this should pretty much make me look like an idiot because the whole time I've been saying, stop focusing on getting the appointment. But if you're really paying attention in the very beginning, I said, we're gonna read between the lines. So what I'd love you to focus on is not speed the lead, it's not appointment set, it's everything in between. It's everything in between. Because if instead of aiming to build, to book an appointment, I focus on building a connection with you, here's what's gonna happen. What's gonna happen is another agent's gonna call you, because let's say that lead wasn't exclusive. So another agent's gonna call you, and you're gonna feel connected to me already based on the time we've spent on the phone, and you're gonna tell that agent, sorry, I'm already working with someone else. Now that's whether we've signed a buyer agency agreement or not, because the truth is, most people work with people they know, like, and trust. So if my brother went and bought a house with someone else, I'd be a little hot about it, and I imagine you would too. So think about it. How do you build a connection with someone that makes someone say, it's more than just get me to a house? And that happens through doing one thing, and we all know the answer, and it's called ask questions. So write that down, ask questions. So I have a question for you guys. When should you stop asking questions? Never, that's it. So if you know that, why do you stop asking questions? The best listener in the world should be a person you know nothing about. What do I mean? What I mean is if we're in the middle of a conversation and if you're not with me, then when this is done, I'll be out there and we can test this out. I will role play this with you. You pick any topic you want and I'll know everything there is about you. When we're done, you will think I am the best listener in the world and you will know nothing more than my name. Because when you understand connection, you realize it's not about you. It's about the other person, the person you're serving, the person you're adding value to, the person you're connecting with. So when the lead comes in, is this the only house you're interested in? What about these homes do you love so much? Why are you moving? It's simple questions. Nothing I'm gonna go over with you is something that no one's ever heard before, but the reality is what I'm going over with you is something that we typically forget to actually do. So when you say, Phil, how do you get the 95% conversion rate? All I do is I understand this rule. Conversion does not start when the lead comes in and end when I sell a house. Conversion starts when I begin to show the world what my brand is, and it ends never. It is a constant cycle that happens over and over and over again. So let me help you right now. On 3, yell out your favorite color. 1, 2, 3. I converted you. Folks, that is how I see conversion. Conversion happens every step of the way. Every single step of the way, that's one phase of conversion. Now, there's a rule to this that a lot of people know and some people don't, but if I can get you to say yes to me 5 times, you're probably gonna continue to say yes the rest of the conversation, and all I gotta do is keep asking you questions about you that you respond yes to me with, or give me some form of yes, so that when I eventually say, I'll tell you what, you know, you mentioned to me that your kids play sports on Saturdays. Sunday morning, I'm a little busy, but I'm gonna clear some time. Why don't we meet at 123 Acme Street? And I'm gonna walk you through that house. I think you're gonna love it. Let's do 11 p.m. or 11 a.m. 11 p.m., that'd be a weird meeting. Whole different talk. So now, instead of you saying, yes, I will meet you, it turns into, that sounds good. I can do that. I'm totally free Sunday morning. It becomes something you're used to doing. You're used to agreeing with someone you know, you like, and you trust. And here's the craziest part about it. You don't actually know me, but the reason you're connected to me is because you recognize that I have taken the time to know you. Does that make sense? All right, next step. Did I just go back? No, here we go. Next step in our conversion. There we go. Appointment met. So we meet, appointment met. Now here's what typically happens when the appointment gets met. Are you ready? We get to the appointment. What do you like about this house? Is this the one for you? Do you want to write an offer? I think we should do it. We better move quick. The market's hot. If you like it, someone else is going to like it. Think about it, how much you love it. Other people love it too. There's 4 appointments after this. I check showing time, so I already know they're there. Holy smokes. Why not bombard somebody with a bunch of questions that are only important to you during a time where they're making the most stressful, biggest decision of their entire lives? That seems so counterproductive. Instead, what I'm going to encourage you to do is take a different approach. When you get to the house, here's what you do. This is going to seem different. Get the key out of the lockbox. You want to open the door first? I'm just saying, if this is the one, you should probably be the one that opens the door before me. Let them open the door. This does 2 things for you. Number 1, have you ever tried to unlock a door, which you've done countless times in your whole entire life, and there's people standing behind you, and you can't figure out how to open that damn door? Say aye if you've been where I've been. Yeah, exactly. It prevents you from being the idiot that can't unlock a door. It's perfect. I figured this out. I said, why have I ever tried to open the door? The second thing it does is it builds a connection. You see, because when you're selling something, the next step in building a connection with you is transferring the connection to the product. Write that down. You've built a connection with you. The next step is to transfer that connection to the product. The house is the product. Why are you giving the tour? First off, you've never been in the damn house. It's your first time in the house, like it's their first time in the house. So why are you trying to experience the house the way you want to experience it for someone else that's going to live in it? Let them tour the house. Your job is to be quiet, is to listen, and then more important than anything else, when warranted, offer value. This is not offering value. I love that picture up there. This is not offering value. Look at these beautiful white shaker cabinets. Like everyone's seen HGTV. They all know what white shaker cabinets are. They all know Joanna Gaines loves gray. Like we got it, right? Your value comes in knowing that there's a forest conservation easement over 30% of that property and they can never touch any down tree that ever falls on that property in that 30% range. That's where your value comes in. Your value comes in when you realize there's not enough impervious space for them to put in the pool that they always talked about wanting to put in. Because when you first spoke to them, they gave you the tools, and now your job is to start building the house when it matters most. Does this make sense? It doesn't. Great. Beautiful. So the next step in our SOPs, it's only 6 steps, is pre-approval. Now here's how we work pre-approvals. It's a little bit different. We work pre-approvals in a fashion that happens at the home. When someone loves a home, the thing we want to do is we want to get them pre-approved at that time. If it hasn't happened already, we want to get them pre-approved in the house. So our lender is on standby whenever we show homes. Our lender is on standby to take the call and use that time to pre-approve somebody. From there, we put the offer out, we negotiate, and we get the pending status. Now that's buyers, that's easy. Let's talk about sellers. And here's why I want to talk about sellers. Last year, my team sold with about eight producing agents. We sold 196 homes. This year, we're on pace to do about 250 homes. And this is where it becomes important. Last year, we sold 196 homes, 70 of which were listings. Now, Tom talked about listings earlier and the importance of listings. Well, we adopted this mindset that listings were vital, super important. In fact, we adopted it in about October of last year. So what we did was we changed everything. I made a decision, and that decision was, I'm not training on buyers anymore. I understood that there's not enough inventory, interest rates are going up, people are getting used to where interest rates are. 40% of sellers are buyers anyway. There's so much cause to just focus on sellers. So I'm going to focus on sellers. And then what I did was I said, well, people confidently do what they're most confident in. So what I'm going to do is instead of telling someone, go get a seller lead, I'm going to teach them how to have a listing appointment. And by teaching them how to be confident in a listing appointment, they would naturally go get the seller leads. Let me tell you what it did. Last year, 196 homes, 70 of which were listings. This year, July 1st, as of July 1st, we had done 84 listings. It completely changed our focus as a team. So we blew out in the beginning of July what took all year to do last year because we changed our focus. So here's how we do it. I'm skipping some of this just due to time. We can talk about it later if you want. So obviously if listings control the market, get more listings. Here we go. Here is our listing SOP. It works like clockwork. It works every time. Step 1, arrive at the property. Sit in your car for 2 to 3 minutes. I'm gonna do these super quick, but you gotta understand there's a reason for every step. Sit in the car for about 2 to 3 minutes. Don't get on your cell phone, get on a notepad or an iPad. If you're drawing a picture, draw a picture. If you're taking notes, take notes. I do not care, but you're being watched. You're either being watched by the person you're going to meet or a neighbor. So assume that they're watching you and they realize or think you're taking notes about what you see. The next step is exit your car and look around the house. Exit your car and look around the house, but respect the property intrusion lines. The property intrusion lines work like this. You can walk around the front of the house, but never walk past the front of the house. Never step, fence or not, towards the side or the back of the house. When you're walking around the house, talk to yourself out loud. If you're being watched, usually you're being listened to as well. So talk about the house. Man, that looks great. Probably need to change that fascia up there. All right, that sounds good. Take notes. Bam. What I'm doing is letting people know while they're watching me that I'm the expert that they're going to follow when we sit inside that house. Next, knock or ring and wait to be invited in. The door's open. You see them in the kitchen through the house. You could just walk in. Don't. Knock or ring every time and wait to be invited in. Because people do not invite salespeople in their house, they invite friends in their house. And I want to change your subconscious mind to assume I'm your friend right from the jump. So I'm gonna get you to start treating me like a friend right from the jump. Next, allow yourself to be guided to the center of the house. The center of the house. Usually this is a family room or this is a kitchen where everything happens. Allow yourself to be guided there. And listen with massive intention because you're going to use this. Set down any items you have. I bring an iPad to a listing appointment. That's all I bring. Set down anything you have in the most family-focused space in that house that you can find. And here's how you do it. Hey, do you mind if I just set this down right here? That's it. That's all you have to do. It's not. They're going to agree. Hey, do you mind if I just sit this down right here? Yeah, sure. Go ahead. All right. Next, begin the home tour. Now, this is where you win. Do not get toured through the home. Instead, be the tour guide in their own home. So here's how I do it every time. I'll tell you what, can we start with just walking through the house? Are you okay? Can we just walk through the house so I can see everything that you love about the house? And maybe you can tell me some of the things that you might change about the house. Yeah, sure. Let's actually go to the front. Let me tell you why I want to start in the front. I want to start in the front of the house because I'm going to take the buyer perspective. And I'm essentially just going to say, how would a buyer see this? How would a buyer take in your home? And then I'm literally going to open the front door and I'm going to say, well, since the door opens to the left and you've got this big stairway here, they're going to get pushed to the right. So why don't we go into the right? But I do want you to know if it's raining or snowing outside, they're not just going to run to the right. They're actually going to let everyone in the house that they came with and they're going to close the door. And when you close the door, since it swings open left, it's going to close to the right. So they're going to get turned to the right. So they're going to actually be looking this way. So they'll probably push this way. So since it's summer, let's go that way. But if it was winter, we'd go this way. You have to understand how buyer psychology works. All right, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to sit down. We've done the whole tour. We're going to sit down. I'm going to go super quick because I got to run through. We're going to sit down, and when we sit down, I'm never going to sit across from the clients. I'm going to sit beside the clients. You sit across from finance people at car dealerships. Finance people at car dealerships take your money. I'm not that. I'm not sitting across from you. You sit next to a friend. So that's who I'm going to sit with. I'm going to sit next to you, not across from you. And then I'm going to review the property. I'm going to do a full property walkthrough review. So here's how I'm going to do it. I'm going to say, okay, before we get started, what I want to do is I actually want to run through your whole house. So when we walk inside, you have a family room to your right. You've got your kitchen off that. To the left of that, you got a separate dining room and then a formal living room space. Off the formal living room space, you've got a den area. That den can be a primary bedroom, and there's an ensuite. And I'm gonna go through the entire house, but here's the kicker. I'm gonna touch on things that don't seem important. Yeah, that's where you have that big mirror with the gold surround. I want them to understand that I not only know your house, but I know the details that you put in your house because you probably find them important. After that, I'm gonna go with questions, and I'm gonna get to know them more. And that's gonna be, so tell me again, I know we talked about it on the phone, but break it down for me. Why did you guys decide to sell? Oh, well, we're selling because we're moving. You know, we're moving out of state. Really, you're moving? Yeah, we're moving out of state. We got a transfer of jobs, blah, 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 so on and so forth. And I'm just gonna continue to ask questions until they run out of answers. After that, I'm gonna review comps. After that, I'm gonna sign a listing agreement. So I told you I convert at 95%. On the buyer side, we look at 3 homes. I'll explain how to do this because I'm actually out of time. So I'll explain how to do this, how to look at 3 homes and buy one afterwards back there if you guys wanna chat, or maybe over there. And on a listing side, we sign listings in person. Right then and there. I do not come back. I do not review comps and come back to the house. 95% of the times, we sign right then and there. All right. Lastly, we do a walkthrough video and a post on social media about the house. Okay, now, I'm closing with this. There's so much more that goes into this, and I could spend an entire day breaking down the concept of conversion and connection. But understand this, if you're a business owner and you're a leader and you want to live in that space, then leaders listen. They listen to their clients. They don't just listen to other people in their industry. We have collectively fallen into a space where we feel like the best thing for us to do is to become the #1 TikTok star there is. Now, I feel funny saying this. I have 111,000 followers on TikTok. So I feel a little funny saying it, but I need you guys to understand that's not the goal. You want to listen not to what your peers are doing only, but you want to listen to what the clients are looking for. Leaders equip their clients with information. So if you're gonna do content, instead of dancing around and pointing, actually talk about the value you can give your clients. If you're gonna be a leader, then you need to make sure that you appreciate the fact that you have that client. So what that means is, for newer agents in the room, the $75,000 lead is just as important as a $7.5 million lead. Yes. Please understand this truth. Luxury is not a price point. It's an experience. Luxury is not a price point, it's an experience. So treat every deal with appreciation and make sure they know it. Leaders develop constantly. The reason why we started off by talking about this being a business is simply because business owners understand that you can never grow too big or too much. You can never grow, not your business, you can never grow too much. The reason why all of us have spent money and time and energy to get here is because we understand the value in personal development, so continue to do it. Leaders enlist the help of other people. This is where you reach into your peers. This is where you develop. This is where you continue to grow. You ask people that have already done it for help, and you are not egotistical or arrogant when you ask them. You are humble in saying, I need your help. Heck, I did it to Tom before he went out on stage earlier. And leaders build relationships. We're here, we're doing it, we might as well connect. We might as well talk. And lastly, most importantly, the reason I am on earth today is because leaders serve. Without question, they serve. They submit and they serve. So like I said, there's a ton more we could go into, but I've got to wrap, so I'll leave you with this. If you want to go on social media and get views, get likes, get shares, get clicks, I'm all for it. Go for it. Have fun. But understand that's just sexy. And the truth of the matter is, if you want to be sexy, you should actually be going to the gym. It's the truth. If you want success, then you have to be willing to learn. You have to be willing to practice, you have to be willing to build, and most importantly, you have to work so fucking hard, everyone thinks you cheated. That's how you find success in this deal. At least that's what I believe. Thank you guys very much. I've appreciated my time with you. Thank you.